Hey guys, Chris Love, owner of Love to Dev, and today I'm going to just do a real quick web performance audit on a site. And this one I'm going to pick apart a little bit on Neil Patel. And if you don't know who Neil is, he is a master at online marketing and is great at providing lots of great content. But like most of the websites in his niche, and I won't name names tonight, well, let's just say they've got work to do to get their web performance up. Anyway, so I was reading this really good article on why the homepage is dying tonight. It's a rather long article, blah blah blah, but I couldn't put it down. It's a great article, by the way. Do recommend going into it. But as usual, I got to thinking as he started talking about dropping crap on your page, and I was like, here we go. So I went to my trusty tool, web page test, and dropped good old Neil's site in there. And if we go back, here's the top level report. And I've been doing 3 runs, and I am doing most of my default runs today on a Nexus 5 Android device. I could just as easily put it on an iPhone, let's say, but I do recommend trying to do it on a mobile device instead of on a desktop. Now, I didn't choose the GPRS options it is on a high-speed cable connection. Maybe I should run it with that while we're doing this. Let's do that. We'll just do that. And we'll have this done by the time I get done, just so we can see the difference. So let's go back. See if I can drop him on there. I think, yeah, here we go. Let's change it to something most people might have. Yeah, let's go mobile LTE. We'll give them a better connection. Okay, let's go back to history. And yeah, I love web page test. It's a great way just to get started. All right, so first things first, obviously he's got a lot of green on his report card, but obviously there's some areas to fix. And the first one is time to first byte. And all these SEO online marketing guys constantly keep talking about web performance optimization being a key search engine ranking factor, and they're absolutely correct. The problem is they don't know about really what web performance optimization is, and they really do the same mistake that your typical developer makes. It's all about your server speed. That's 5% of the equation unless your server is crap. And unfortunately, Neil's got a little bit of lag here. It's not the worst thing in the world, but I can tell you exactly how Neil can fix it. So listen to me, guys. Don't use a dynamic website engine. By that I mean don't use ASP.NET, don't use PHP. Sorry, WordPress people, WordPress is dog slow. Don't use Ruby on Rails. Don't use your dynamic CMS, anything infrastructure. Instead, get some sort of engine or tool or something you can just automatically trigger that's going to make the call to that rendering engine, or do what I'm doing and actually building an infrastructure that just compiles it out and make a static website of your content. That way your databases aren't getting hit, your rendering pipeline's not getting hit, yada yada yada. Instead, you're going to get a super fast response rate. Now, he's got 800 milliseconds here on this particular one. That's really not the worst I see. I see a lot of them that are 3-4 seconds because they're doing that or worse. I'm looking at U84 Lumber. You screwed up big time on Super Bowl Sunday because you had crap servers, or at least your server's crap configured, and that cost you millions and millions of dollars. Next, he has got HTTP 1.1 enabled. But as you notice right here, he is secure, which is good. Unfortunately, his site's not like properly secured. And you know how I know that? He doesn't really have the green lock. Let's see. Maybe I'll have to look at another browser, a little more visible with it. I'll go over that stuff later. But by being HTTPS, you have the key to actually turn on some massive performance benefits, and that is HTTP2. And I can tell he is not HTTP2 because this is a slanted waterfall. You can see it goes off to the right, If it was HTTP2, it would go straight down, basically, and you would have essentially just one connection to his server, which is this CDN server. It's not even his primary domain. That's another thing that like a lot of top websites do. They don't pawn off their assets to a second domain. That's domain sharding. That is a 1.1, HTTP 1.1 strategy. That's dead these days. Instead, you want to have one domain and have all your assets there. Next, he's got the same problem so many people have. Look at all these freaking JavaScript files, and each one of them takes time. Now, that's not such a problem with HTTP2, but as we'll scroll down here, you see a lot of yellow slugs in here, and a good website is as void of these as possible. And I love JavaScript as much as the next guy, but I know it is a performance killer. And how do I know that? You see this line right here, page is interactive. When it's red, that means the user can't do anything. They may try to scroll or point to something and it's not going to respond. That's because the single, you only get one thread, the single thread in the browser that's rendering your page is locked up due to this crap. And you can see it's this golden rod right here, that's JavaScript. That's rendering CSS. That's another thing too. Way too much CSS is used so much. Here's green, but then it yanks and it locks it back up, and then you're green again, and then it janks it again, and you can't interact with it. That is so frustrating to people. But look, it takes 9.5, nearly 10 seconds for this page to actually become usable because of all the crap that's going on. Look at all this crap that's going on. Got to trim that up, dude. Got to trim that up. Got to be a nice flat waterfall. Now, he's done a pretty decent job of getting the proper cache header set up, but you can't rely on those, especially on mobile devices, because they purge the cached resources a lot more aggressively than desktop. So for the most part, most of these files aren't really going to be cached. It's going to be a lot of excess traffic between the mobile device and your server, and that's also bad. And this is where service workers can come into play. I really don't think he's using a service worker, to be honest with you. Did not check, but I'm pretty sure he's not, because I don't get prompted in Chrome to actually add it to my home screen. So got to get some progressive web appness to you, buddy. All right, now, again, caching static content. You got a B on that one. Let's see. Yes. It's just because you get a bunch of third-party crap. That's another thing you got to do. You got to eliminate third-party crap as much as possible, because that takes your site out of control. That's why you don't use disgust for comments, because it makes your site disgusting. But 1.72 kilobytes. That's usually a big smell to me as well. That just means you got too much junk. Now he does have some images on there, but they aren't really big images. So to me, it's just he's loading a ton of JavaScript. I haven't actually looked at the actual JavaScript. Let's see what this tools tipster cost. That's not too bad. That's not terribly bad. Let's go back up here to this. Actually, I think I got a breakdown somewhere in here. We'll wrap this up here in a second. Yeah, here we go. We've got, look at that, half of his content almost is JavaScript, and that's bad. So you got to fix that, and you can get a lot better performance out of your site. Get it down to under 3 seconds. All right, guys, talk to you later.